Okay, this video is not to fearmonger, but I want to talk about the possibility and the probability of a Bitcoin crash in 2025. And I think it's more so going to be a reflection of a Bitcoin dump in 2025, which is going to mean the price of Bitcoin is going to drop substantially. Now, again, I don't want to fearmonger you, but we're going to look at the economics and the data behind why this is probably the case and why most market players feel this is the case. This is not just my opinion, although I feel this way, and I've done the financial and business analysis and the market analysis to return these predictions. Most large companies with tens of thousands of people that are doing this math are finding themselves in the same boat, especially those that are buying Bitcoin every day to almost like hedge against it or try to prevent it from happening. Regardless, we're going to talk about it. Before we get into the video, if you guys want to keep up to date with entrepreneurship, financial independence, retiring early, everything passive income, Shopify, you name it, basically just making money, please hit the subscribe button. There's a wealth of information on this channel. I'm trying to grow it. It's free to do. You just have to click that button right below. It really helps the channel grow. I really would appreciate it. So again, here's the deal. I don't want to scare you. This is not a video that's intended to get clicks, although I know that it's kind of clickbaity, but it's real, right? We're going to talk about it. So let's talk about why Bitcoin is where it's at right now. It's where it's at right now for a handful of reasons. One, there is some utility value of Bitcoin. We have, economic and market uncertainty, which means DeFi has more of a place within it. We've seen that, outside of the US used very critically, and we're seeing it really start to apply to the US as the market is just uncertain about what's going to happen with the transition politically and everything that falls into that boat. We've also seen kind of a movement towards kind of alternate investing that is growing in popularity, and that, that with political uncertainty is hitting each other. On top of that, we have organizations that are learning more about the cryptocurrency, and the funds have started opening in 2024. You're getting more kind of asset class allocations with funds and what people are trying to do, which means we're getting more readily available adoption, which is also coming into where it's at right now. And finally, you're seeing larger organizations spend significant money, which is almost like its own proof of stake, which is the wrong terminology in terms of DeFi, but it's the right terminology in terms of the market, right? We're seeing large companies with hundreds of millions of dollars put their money where their mouth is and invest in Bitcoin or alternative assets. And what that's telling the rest of the world and the rest of the United States is the market thinks it's safe, right? Or people think it's safe enough to put so much money into it that I should trust it. So it's creating this trust fallacy. Now, all of those things have caused Bitcoin to get to where it's right now, which it's at its theoretical peak, or its peak for right now. It's at an all-time high. Rich assets will always grow or whatever, but it's at an all-time high that's much over predicted to where it should be, which isn't necessarily a negative thing. But here's the problem with that. You have these very, very large commercial organizations that are responsible for the majority of where Bitcoin's price is right now. And they continue to buy, which I understand from an investing standpoint. But because of Bitcoin's volatility, those companies are basically hedging that Bitcoin is going to be less volatile. One, because they own more of it and they control more of it. And two, because they're basically setting this market sentiment around trustworthiness, less volatility, whatever it is. But that doesn't stop the fact that it is a volatile asset. And if that asset is volatile to a certain point, that company then becomes, responsible to its shareholders to protect their assets. And shareholders can take their assets. There are some rules around that, but they have to basically protect across massive losses. Usually there are stop losses. There is a possibility that those stop losses could basically be impacted, and those companies that are buying massive portions of Bitcoin could be forced to sell. Now, if that were to happen, one, that breaks the market trust. Two, that breaks the market sentiment. Three, that breaks the sentiment of other organizations and individuals investing in other companies interacting in this space. And more importantly, it changes the entire playing field about how companies feel in terms of investing their own income and investors' income into it to hold the money there or grow it or whatever their plans are from a financial standpoint. And what that can really do is that can cause a massive kind of chain reaction in the price going down. So in terms of Bitcoin's volatility, hopefully, right, I'm going to tell you this up front, hopefully it's not super volatile. Not just because, actually, and I'll say it so strongly that I want it to be volatile because personally I could make money if it drops a lot and I can buy it and it's going to go back up. But it's not good for the economy for it to be volatile, because if this all happens, it's going to shake up the entire market. We're potentially looking at a massive market kind of dredge because just so much money is involved in it right now. And basically this is where I'm at. and where the market's at, honestly. But I'm going to tell you where I'm at so you guys can understand. And my opinions at this point match most market analysts and market economists that are looking at this. Bitcoin, if it drops, is going to drop substantially. There isn't really a play where we see, a 20% reduction, which is for any asset class ridiculous, right? If the companies that are buying the amount of Bitcoin that they are see a 20% loss, we're talking Armageddon inside those companies. Like things that is shaking up a company, because that could be up to 2 years of returns for smart, safe, invested assets for most of these companies. You have to realize most companies, when they're storing money from investors, are investing in very, very safe assets that don't have those 10% market returns. So a 20% correction could be 2.5, 3 years of market returns for them lost immediately, which is not good when you're talking to investors about lots of money. It's not going to happen, right? If a 20% correction were to happen, we would probably see up to a 50, 60, 70% correction immediately, which when you think about Bitcoin, isn't that crazy? I'm not calling for something crazy there. The market's not calling for something that crazy, but it is crazy when you think that we've held time and we've held this excitement around that $100,000 mark. People are going to lose a lot of money and it's going to further drop that low. Now, can Bitcoin grow back? Absolutely. That's the pattern of Bitcoin. That's what makes Bitcoin beautiful. That's what makes it an asset class. Basically, what's happening in the market is a play to make it less volatile, which I think is great, but it's a slow pay. Think about it as conical, right? You want Bitcoin to slowly take its conical thing and go like this in volatility, right? We're only midway through that. Like in 2015, we were out here. Now we're here. We eventually have to get here, but we got time. There's time before that happens. So I'm gonna call the video at this point because I've been rambling for a little bit, but what I've just said is where everyone's heads are. And there's a lot of people that make content on YouTube that are going to tell you otherwise, or TikTok, or whatever are going to tell you otherwise. They're not big enough. They don't own enough Bitcoin that they're going to make money on it, make money from you or something like that. So they're not trying to like scam you or anything, but they are trying to get clicks. And unfortunately, a lot of like the misinformation that sounds like really sexy, like, oh, you're going to make lots of money, is getting people really excited. And what's happening is people are making informed decisions about that. So the entirety of the purpose of this video is I've just personally been watching a lot of videos that are giving not great information, and I can see the comment sections below, so I just wanted to make this video to be kind of like a level setter. I'm hoping to be asymptotic in this video, and where, people are negative about Bitcoin, people are positive about Bitcoin. I just want to give you what the market and the economy are saying right now. And that's what this video is. Hopefully you guys find it useful. I will see you guys in the next video.